Good evening and thank you for joining us. A Weather Authority alert day is still in effect for the remainder of this week because of the dangerously cold conditions we're feeling all across our region tonight.
Yeah, we want to check in with meteorologist Sarah Osterbind, who joins us now. So Sarah, how are the temperatures looking right now?
Very cold, and they're going to stick to be very cold for, like you said, a while into the end of the week at least, and maybe even further. But I want to go ahead and take a look at our current temperatures because they are just brutal. Looking at Roanoke right now, we're seeing 28 degrees, currently 30 in South Boston. Hot Springs is currently 14 degrees, and Independence is 20 degrees. So we're seeing those temperatures start to get down into our nightly temperatures. And along with that, we do have some wind gusts alongside of it, giving us a very, very frigid wind chill. So what is actually 20 degrees in Roanoke feels more like 16 degrees, and in Hot Springs it feels like 0 degrees. South Boston has a wind chill of 27, so it's less bad over there. That said, 27 in my opinion is still very, very cold and very unpleasant. Independence has a wind chill of 11 degrees, and all across the board we are seeing these temperatures not even get out of the 20s. Most places only seeing the teens and the single digits even. But going ahead, taking a look at our current radar, not seeing too much in terms of moisture. There is some overcast skies, including some stratus clouds, mainly in the Newer Valley and on the higher mountaintops. But we do have some cold weather alerts, including all the places in the light blue. There's a cold weather advisory, and that is going to last until tomorrow at 11 a.m. And even as you go up towards the north here in Pocahontas County, we do have part of it seeing a extreme cold warning until tomorrow at 11 a.m. So make sure you stay bundled up because it's going to be cold overnight into tomorrow, as well as the next coming days, maybe even the next coming weeks.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Road crews are still facing challenges after this week's winter storm as ice-packed secondary roads prove difficult to clear. VDOT faces a massive task in the Salem district. They're responsible for more secondary road miles than any other district in Virginia, and this storm's thick ice pack is proving especially challenging. Crews are putting down chemicals and abrasives to break up the ice and bringing in specialized equipment called motor graders. These heavy-duty machines are proving to be their most effective tool against the thick snow and ice.
They can really apply a downward pressure and force that our snow plow trucks can't. So those are way more efficient at pushing snow and ice that we have currently off the roads.
VDOT says they're ready for whatever comes our way this weekend, but they are asking for residents' help by parking off-street whenever possible, giving those motor graders and plows room to work. And with temperatures dropping into the single digits overnight, as Sarah mentioned, many people are turning up their heat to stay warm.
Yeah, but running your heating system more often can lead to higher utility bills. Yeah. Tonight, Taylor Bryan is working for you to find out tips how to keep your heating efficient and your bills lower during this cold snap.
I'm at Woodfin where I talked to the operations manager about some tips that you can use to keep your bills low while your HVAC system is working overtime in this freezing cold. Crews at Woodfin keeping busy during the bitter blast. With temperatures dipping into the single digits overnight, operations manager Chris Beck says there are things you can do to keep your heat running smoothly.
You have a forced air heating system. The best recommendation, as always, is to make sure your air filter is replaced and clean. Make sure any vents are unblocked, anything can actually breathe and heat the air as it needs to. No matter the type of system you have, Beck says you should set your heat to a comfortable level, then bump it down a degree or two to conserve energy. If you have curtains, closing the curtains and trying to keep that heat inside the home, keep it from escaping. Any type of seals around doors and stuff like that. Rolling up a towel and putting it under the door, that helps significantly with draft. Now to make sure your plumbing stays intact, remove your outside hose, and if you can, cut off the water to it. They still have water in them. They will freeze and it expands and it will end up busting it. Typically when it's temperatures like we have right now, you won't even notice it right away. And once the ice starts to form inside of it, it's actually preventing water from coming out. But once it begins to thaw is usually when you'll actually end up noticing you have a leak. Beck also added that people should have their HVAC systems checked at least once a year to make sure that they are functioning to the best of their ability.
And make sure to stay weather aware while you are on the go by downloading the 10 News Weather Authority app to your phone and your smart devices. All you have to do is scan that QR code you see there on your screen, or you can download it for free in Apple and Google Play stores.
The Henry County Sheriff's Office is investigating a disturbing case of animal cruelty. On December 27th, a poodle named Bella was found shot with birdshot, suffering from injuries that left her blind. She underwent multiple surgeries and is now recovering at home with her family. Sheriff Davis called this a cruel and deliberate act that has deeply affected the community. They're offering up a $2,500 reward for information that leads to an arrest and conviction.
In November, you'll see a question on your ballot about if ex-felons should have their voting rights restored.
It's a proposed constitutional amendment that state lawmakers voted on earlier this month, and now we will vote on it in November. The constitutional amendment would not just restore voting rights, it would also restore all civil rights for ex-felons. And that includes the right to serve on a jury, run for office, and become a public notary. We spoke with one ex-felon, Mike Little, who was incarcerated for a year for writing bad checks.
I should be able to vote.
My biggest concern with the constitutional amendment is that it does not distinguish between violent felons and nonviolent felons. So rapists, murderers, child pornographers, they're having their rights restored just like somebody who wrote a bad check.
For me, I believe that what we need to be doing is ensuring that we send the signal that sure, if someone has violated the law, they've served their time, that they are part of society, integrated back in.
Currently, if someone wants to have their rights restored and they're no longer incarcerated, they have to apply to the governor, who has to approve them.
The city of Radford has been in grim financial straits over the past few years, as we've been reporting. The issues include debts to AUP, cash flow issues, alleged mismanagement, and the rumor mill. It's impacted the community's outlook, and some people who live there tell 10 News they've become disillusioned with the city and its future. One of the biggest concerns is Radford potentially losing cityhood.
It's a serious situation in that if we don't address this appropriately, that losing our city charter could be at stake. I don't think we're there yet, but I do believe if we do not take very serious measures, continue improving efficiencies and our fiscal house, that could be a possibility.
The vice mayor also said he believes Radford has a good future ahead of them, and they are, quote, irons in the fire that can get this thing turned around.
10 News is working for you to find your money. We're partnering with the Virginia Treasury to help you find any unclaimed property. After 5 years, unclaimed property is sent to the Treasury for safekeeping. And that can be anything from checking or savings accounts, refunds or rebate checks, to cashier's checks, or even leftover funds on PayPal. And especially if you've moved around a lot, they recommend that you check. Plus, their online system is easy to navigate.
You might have some funds out there. I just encourage everyone just to at least be curious. Go check out our website, put your name in. You never know what might be out there. You'd be surprised.
It doesn't cost you anything to file a claim, and for simple individual claims, you could get a check within 7 to 10 business days. Just head to vamoneysearch.gov to get started.
Smoking rates are down, but tobacco use remains a big problem.
My health experts are worried about government efforts to reduce tobacco use.
It's called the State of Tobacco Control, an annual report card that grades state and federal efforts to reduce tobacco use. And the analysis released today comes with a warning. In today's Health Watch, experts explain why they're worried that hard-won progress in tobacco use prevention may be at risk. In its annual report card released today, the American Lung Association says smoking rates for adults dropped from just over 23% in 2000 to below 11% in 2023. And while youth tobacco use is at the lowest level in 25 years, more than 2 million middle and high school students still use tobacco, including e-cigarettes.
Certainly not necessarily something a report card you'd want to bring home to your parents.
Despite major strides, tobacco use remains the leading cause of preventable death and disease in the U.S., claiming more than 490,000 lives every year. And the report warns progress could quickly unravel due to changes in tobacco use prevention and cessation efforts.
I want to see us continue to fight and drive down smoking rates so nobody has to deal with the consequences.
When it comes to regulation of tobacco products and coverage of treatments to help people quit smoking, the report gives the federal government a D. It received an F for the level of federal tobacco taxes and an I for incomplete on mass media campaigns aimed at preventing and reducing use. A B was given for funding tobacco prevention and control. State grades were also a concern.
No stick at all A's, but there were a few. They got the few best states, including California, Colorado, Delaware, DC, Maine, and Massachusetts. And then the states with the worst grades, scoring F's in all 5 grading categories, were Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, and Alabama.
To keep tobacco control progress headed in the right direction, the report suggests greater federal regulation of tobacco products like reducing nicotine levels in cigarettes and ending the sale of flavored tobacco products.
Good evening, I'm meteorologist Sarah Osterbein, and I want to start off taking a look at our clouds and radar. As you can see, not too much in terms of precip, but we are seeing some stratus clouds come into the area, mainly towards the west in the New River Valley as well as the highlands, and we do have those cold weather advisories still in effect, and they will be until tomorrow morning right at 11, where we're going to be seeing those really brutal temperatures along with those very frigid wind chills. Now, even though they expire at 11, those temperatures do not, and we're actually going to see those go into the weekend as well as the oncoming days. But going ahead, taking a look, 3 p.m. on Friday, here in Roanoke, we're going to have a temperature of 27 degrees, but it's going to feel like 18 degrees. Down in South Boston, a temperature of 33 degrees, and it's going to feel like 20 right at 3 p.m. on Friday. Now, as we go into Friday night, Saturday morning, it's going to be very, very chilly as well, getting even colder than we've seen the past couple days, where Roanoke will see a temperature of 17 degrees and a feels like temperature of 6 degrees right at 5 a.m. on Saturday. Even South Boston seeing a wind chill of -1 degree. So it's going to be very cold then especially, but as we go into Saturday night, Sunday morning, that's when we're going to see the lowest of these wind chill temperatures. Saturday night, 8 p.m., 0 degree feels like temperature in Roanoke. As we look up in Hot Springs, already getting well into the negatives, -14 degree feels like temperature. Independence, -17 wind chill temperature. So very, very cold. Getting even colder as we go into Sunday morning. Unfortunately, in Floyd, we're seeing a -21 degree wind chill with an actual temperature of 3 degrees. So we're seeing almost a 30-degree drop in between the real temperature and the feels like temperature because of those gusty winds that are going to be into play. Now, unfortunately, as we look into our outlook, we're seeing those temperatures stick around even until February 7th. Going into the middle of February, they'll even be in play as well. But we're seeing those temperatures stay to be well below average, especially down in Southside. As you go towards the west, it gets a little less dramatic, but still nonetheless very, very cold. Now, I want to shift gears and talk about this weekend, as we do have a potential nor'easter hitting us this weekend. That said, there is a little bit of debate about the snow totals, as there is much differentiation between the models still to this point. Now, taking a look at the Euro, we have a more eastward track, and it's going to provide us less snow if that is the case of what happens. If we look at the GFS, we have a more westward track, which would give us more snow. Now, they both have in common that there is a coastal low pressure system developing off the coast of Florida that is coming up the coast and giving us some snow, as well as some very, very brutal wind chills, as I just showed you. And between the two, Southside will be getting the most out of anywhere. That said, I wanted to go ahead and show you our first look, our first acclimation map. So this is our first guess as to what will be happening. Now down in Southside, they could be seeing 3 to 7 inches. And as you go towards the north, we will be getting less snow up there. So take a moment and look at it. It's very likely to change as those models start to get closer together. We will likely come out with another one, but that is our initial guess with what will be happening this weekend. Temperatures right now looking to be in the 20s and the teens. Roanoke currently 28, South Boston 27, Independence 18, and Hot Springs is currently 14. We'll cool down into the single digits and the 10s as we go across the region. Into the next 7 days, we're going to be very, very cold, as well as see that cloud coverage really come into play. And then once we go into next week, hopefully a slight warm up with a high temperature of 39 on Wednesday. Stay tuned for more news after the break.
Now, the 10 News Sports Desk.
Boys smart basketball team that I've had in a long, long time, and we are anything but poised and smart down the stretch.
It was another dismal finish for Mike Young of the Virginia Tech Hokies last night. The team didn't score a single field goal in the final 7 minutes of the game, but managed to get the 71-65 win over Virginia Tech. In its 9 AACC games, 7 of them have come down to crucial possessions, a dangerous trend, but Coach Young thankful for the win and for his team's ball control in pressure-filled moments.
I've got a great ball handling team. And turnovers, disgust me. Sloppy basketball disgusts me. Very good. We've got to get Abdallas back to playing like Abdallas and sharing and distributing. He's 3 for 15 from the field. He has 2 assists on 0 turnovers. Abdallas is an elite passer, an elite playmaker, and he's a great player. And we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out together.
Up next for the Hokies is a ranked home game with number 4 Duke slated for Saturday at noon. As for UVA, it needed not 1 but 2 overtimes to get the road win at Notre Dame. The Cavaliers trailed by as many as 19 points in the first half, but big plays from Tez DeRitter down the stretch. He's the first Cavalier to score 30 or more points in an ACC game since Kyle Guy in 2018 as the Cavaliers sealed the win.
Notre Dame was putting a ton of pressure on us, and our guys had to answer. And fortunately, it began to turn a little bit. We had to play some lineups really for the majority of the game that we haven't played all year. And, it gave us the best chance, to be able to whittle the lead down a little bit going into halftime. And then we just tried to continue to grind, over the course of the second half, and the defense improved a little bit. We were able to force some misses. The press, we scored better.
UVA is now 17-3 with a chance to get a nice win streak going with the likes of Pitt and Syracuse going to Charlottesville next week. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Take a look at your screen. Here's what's coming up tonight in prime time. It is Windy City Wednesday.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for 10 News at 7.
Have a great night.